Let's kick her off. Hi,
Let's go.
welcome everybody. My name's Richard Evans. I'm from AME, and this is the AME 2 Second Lean Leaders Roundtable. If you haven't been with us before, we've got some great leaders from around the world that have experienced the transformation of their companies into the world's best. And without any further ado, I'm going to hand you over to our co-host, Paul Akers. Everybody knows
Okay.
Paul.
All
So I
right.
want you to introduce our team for us, please, Paul.
Well, of course, Bernard is the superstar here because it was his idea to do all this, and then we have Derek Holland down from Central California, actually, right, Derek?
Yeah,
Right,
Northern California.
the closet doctor, and Derek's been doing 2 Second Lean for a long, 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 long time. We've been friends for a long time, and of course, everyone knows Richard. Richard put this whole thing together, and Alex, who Mr. 1B, what would we do without Alex? Everyone knows Alex. And then Bob Hendrickson, a good friend of mine, used to be the director of manufacturing for Steelcase, a huge job responsible for tens of thousands of people and billions of dollars worth of work. And now Bob is the Kaizen leader. Bob, is that correct?
I'm the lean czar.
You're the lean czar for all of Steelcase. Now, this is the biggest office furniture manufacturer in the world, and Bob is a superstar beyond all comprehension. So we've got a great panel today, and we're going to ask questions. So everyone knows on the panel, the way this works is you only have 60 seconds. You cannot bloviate. You cannot go on and on. We want to hand the ball back and forth. We want this fast moving. We want your opinion, boom, to the point, and move to the next question. So let's go, Richard.
That's
Okay.
great. And I,
All
I
right.
recommend a pen and paper for everybody.
Yeah,
Go hard.
you're going to get some really good ones today. It's some fantastic questions. Okay, so welcome to the roundtable. The first question is from Roland. So we try to hold our supervisor team accountable to have worked on at least one improvement every day. We don't always make it. And as VP, I don't ask our people to practice something I don't practice myself. So currently, there's no consequence if one or two people miss. And I have to admit, we do not always have an improvement every day. What tools or practices do you use to help having something ready to work on every day?
Okay, so the
Interesting
first
question.
thing I'm going to do is I want every one of you to answer this question, yes or no, before you answer the question. So, is it feasible to find an improvement every day at work? Bob, yes or no?
Absolutely. Yes.
Alex,
Yes, no doubt.
Richard,
Yes.
Derek,
Yep.
Bernard.
Affirmative.
Okay, so let's go back to Bob. So, what do you think, Bob? How would you answer this question?
So, tools for doing so are simple. It's called the Gemba walk. So, you go and see each person and you simply ask them, what improvement have you made in the last
Mhm.
day? And if they are struggling, there's two key things you can do. You can coach them on. Look for areas of struggle and look for bad flow. Those two
Mhm.
things.
Perfect. Wow.
And I just ask them, is there anything you struggle with? Do you have any bad flow? Target
Couldn't
rich
be
environment.
couldn't be a better answer. Alex, what do you think?
I think he's caught up on the word improvement because sometimes they believe that it has to be like a big thing, but it could be such a small thing as moving the trash out of the way, maybe in the height where you need it, something so simple as that. And it's not like doing a project. And sometimes they get caught up when they need several hours or several days or more people
Okay.
involved and welders.
Okay. So I'm going to say, Roland, if you're listening, I would like you to put in the chat if Alex is identifying maybe one of the problems. You're thinking the improvement has to be significant when in reality it can be very small.
But what I did facilitate was a lean cave in order to have tools and materials that they can get inspired and quickly just see whatever materials they have there and get to it, really quick to do an improvement.
Which I will add was one of Alex's most brilliant contribution to the 2 Second Lean community, the Lean Cave. Brilliant.
Absolutely.
Okay, Derek, go ahead.
Uh, I think one of the tough ones for employees sometimes is recognizing what an improvement is. Sometimes they're looking for something that's a major and big thing. Today I was in the office for a bit. My improvement was I went through some clipboards in 3 area and cleaned it up and just solved that problem. Uh, I've made 3 improvements on my camera for this call today. I hot glued
Mm,
what I had in. available to where my camera's in the center of the screen. So when I'm talking to you guys, I don't look like I'm off staring at the moon.
Right.
And I've moved it 3 times since I got on the phone with Richard. So it's the little things that are there. All those little literal 2-second improvements add up to hours in our days and our years.
Yeah, well, I think all three answers are brilliant. Bernard.
Yeah, great answers, guys. Awesome. I think there's sort of two questions here to unpack. One is how do you hold them accountable, and is there consequences if you don't improve? And then the other one is how do we make it easy? Well, if I can quickly answer one at a time, the first one, not everyone agrees with me on this, but we started a while back actually doing a scorecard at the end of every day, and it's on the chat. So you've got a red cross if you haven't improved beside your name, and you've got a green tick if you have. It's pretty brutal and visual, but it's amazing. It's really helped
I
because
love it.
it takes away all the fluffy stuff. It's like, yeah, did you, didn't you? Well, you did or you didn't, right? It's black or white. So, and now we've just implemented an employee scorecard so that every month with your pulse check, it's a 20 working day scorecard, and you can see, and it's trust based, but you can see every month whether if you want to get a pay rise and you want to move to the next level, part of that is making an improvement every day. So you're tying it back to people's growth and learning in the company. It's not the only thing, but it's in there. So there's about 10 or 12 things in that scorecard. So that's really powerful. Not everyone agrees, but it's so powerful. It's been helpful for us, and we've helped a few other businesses with it. The next one is how to make it easy. Well, I think you guys have covered it, but just keep asking what's bugging you right now. Where's the struggle? Remove the struggle, fix what bugs you, and have a little list of improvement suggestions like, is everything off the floor? Is everything on wheels? Is everything got an SOP? Is there a walkaway standard for everything? All those little simple things. So have a 20-point or a 10-point checklist of little improvement suggestions. So there's lots of little things you can do, and away you go. But you've got to keep the rope tight, and you've got to really follow it through.
I think it's excellent answer. I want you to elaborate on one thing very quickly. What is a walkaway standard?
So a walkaway standard is a photo of your area, and we have these all through the business of what the area should look like when you walk away. Really simple. So what is the standard of your desk? What is the standard of your office? So we have them on almost every wall, so you can see exactly how that spot should look. And sometimes they're changing by the day. Sometimes they might stay stable for a week or two, but you're always upgrading them. It's really simple because you can see straight away if something's out of place. Really powerful.
Well, I tell you, who's ever listening, they should be getting a lot out of this. This is phenomenal. Okay, next question.
So Paul, I got one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
One of the best tools that you can use, Roland, is the video recordings of the improvements you've done previously. That's going to trigger the thought processes of people and saying, oh my God, I didn't realize that happened. I can do that in my area. And that will keep rolling like a snowball going downhill. Really good.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, next one. Will from Lebanon, US. What does excellence look like for your business, and how do you communicate and teach it to your team?
Interesting question. Bernard, I'm going to give you this one first.
Nice. I'm sure we'll get some great answers. A quick thought on that would be that you need to have a standard area. So obviously we all know, start it in the bathroom, or if you're brand new to this journey on this call today, lean begins in the bathroom. Hopefully you've read Paul's amazing book, Two Second Lean, and then Improvement Starts with I by Tom Hughes. And there's a bunch of great books you can read, but start in the bathroom, set a standard area, and then the cafeteria or the lunchroom, so that you can take people in there and go, this is what our standard is, or this is what excellence looks like.
Okay, very good. Derek.
The bathroom is definitely the starting place of everything, and having it there. I think it's going over processes and as well, and just sharing people. What I've noticed in our business is that they don't always, employees don't always see the big picture of what it can become, and so just training on them what excellence looks like, and connecting. We'll watch improvement videos and things like that, and connecting that to their actual task and the things that they're working on.
Okay.
And then I do a lot of video internal for when I get a question now, like for my sales team or people in the field. I'm doing a lot of video that we're saving internally so that we can share that again with people the next time that question comes up.
Awesome. Okay, Alex.
I would say in one word is engagement. That excellence, it really is happening when everybody's involved. Everybody's improving. Everyone is collaborating in their morning meetings. Everybody's doing the restroom. I mean, it's everyone on board. And everyone will have different levels of doing improvements, but the important is engagement.
So Alex, I tell you, that is exactly my answer. Smiles on people's faces, people feeling like they're appreciated, people are engaged in work. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah, so just building on that, having a model cell, a model area that you could bring people to. And as we've built those, I've shared them with Paul and Alex. We're on a group Voxer, and it looks a lot better, the flow's a lot better, but the real test is the excitement with the people around improvement. And they will be honest with you, whether it's just cosmetic lean or
Right.
real lean.
Right.
So it's not a
Right.
model if the employees do not have excitement about their improvements.
Exactly. Wow. Very good.
Nice.
Okay. Richard.
Excellent. So to me, excellence is the smiles, which obviously is the feedback that you're getting that you're doing the right stuff. But here's the thing, everything in its place, a place for everything and everything in its place, clean and ready for use. That's excellence.
Agree.
Okay.
Nice.
Next one. Okay. Glenn from Maine. They overhaul, repair, and modernization of submarines. Great stuff. Is batch processing ever preferred over single phase flow in our lean environment?
Alex, go for it.
Interesting.
I think everyone misconceives the one-piece flow. It could be a three-piece flow. It could be a 10-piece flow. It's whatever works for you. I remember helping a friend in Argentina, and they had to cut the wood. And by cutting one piece of wood, he made three furniture. So it made so much sense that it was a three-piece flow. And when he
Right.
understood that, the waste went down and everything just because he was optimizing his sheet of wood for three pieces. So it's really it's not the one piece. It's whatever makes sense for your business, for your team, for your shop.
Okay. Derek.
It's interesting. We just did some testing on this, and the conclusion that Nathan brought into was it's natural to want to batch flow things, and so it feels uncomfortable. And so we found in our business, one piece flows, we work on one job at a time that flows through the company, but we're working on multiple things. And I think there is a little bit of misunderstanding that I can only work on one thing at a time to completion. But the smallest batch size possible is preferable
Okay.
as opposed to anything that's going to create inventory.
Bernard.
I think everybody's answered this. In our factory, we have a batch of, in one of our factories, we have a batch of concrete, and there's a certain size where the mixer, we have to produce, say, 30 pavers out of one batch of concrete, but they are flowing through the machine one piece at a time. So, yeah, I don't know if I can answer that question. I think you guys have done well.
Okay. Wow. Very good, Bernard. Bob.
So to me, it's whatever the current batch size is, what are we doing with continuous improvement to reduce changeover time to drive the batch size down?
Very
So
good.
Nice.
I pulled this old diagram that you probably can't see, but from the archives, where we're always trying to shrink the inventory in between processes by running smaller batch sizes, which exposes, right, the difficulty in running closer to 1-to-1. And then, so we got two choices. We can either go back to the bigger batch sizes, or we can fix the problems and keep going and going. This plant I'm in has roll forming machines, 8 roll forming machines. Paul's seen them. And we're not going to run one for one off those, even though that's our ultimate goal. That's our target. Well, we're going to run smaller lot sizes by keeping our SMED on our roll forming machines. Keep working on that.
Awesome. Okay. So, Glenn, hopefully that answers your question. If you have another question, follow up on that, just put it in the chat and we'll do that. So go ahead.
This is a good
Richard.
one because I agree absolutely with Bob that you got to look at the amount of wasted time in your flow with setup reduction. So get to the smallest batch size you possibly can. We did that with landing gear. On our main landing gears, we made shock absorbers. and we got down to 2. We didn't go to 1 because there were 2 shock absorbers for every aircraft. So it wasn't worth building pieces of 1. So go to the smallest batch size you can. I think that's really good.
Okay. Very good. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. From Putra in Toronto, how do you go about training new employees to get up to speed on Lean? What about your seasonal employees, if applicable?
Okay. Bob, you want to try that one? You have to do a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, we try to follow a 10-90 policy where 10% is in the classroom, 90%'s out in the Gemba under the guidance of a coach. So that's the power of the model cell.
Okay.
And that's how we do it. Seasonal help, it is tricky, because they're not here that long, but we still include them in our trainings.
Okay. Bernard, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a great question. And we have this challenge all the time. So in one of our factories yesterday, we had 2 new guys join us. So the key thing here for us is always they join the morning meeting immediately, right? So they're coming straight into that culture. They were blown away, these 2 blokes. They always are, new people. So because they're being exposed to these new ideas straight away, they're being valued and appreciated and heard immediately. And so they get that feeling from day one. But even before day one, even if it's seasonal workers, we still give them our full, we call it the Premier Playbook, which is like a handbook that keeps growing, and it's got all our principles, our values, our lean principles, all the things we believe in. So they need to read that. And then any full-time contracts, we make sure they listen to 2-second lean before they come to their second interview. So we give people homework, and then every day, then they're in mini Kaizen events from day one as well too, if they're in the factory. So they're exposed to it just immediately, and then they're being coached and supported by their peers, and then ultimately their team leader. So I don't know if that helps. We could probably talk about this one for a while, but there's a few answers.
No. That's very good. Derek.
Mm-hmm.
Derek?
So one of the things we've done that I general managers
Derek, we're losing you.
is when we interview people, we actually bring them. One of the things we like to do before we give them a job and see if they want to be okay.
Derek, see if your connection for your headset is. Yeah, we're losing you. You're coming in and out.
Derek, hold on for a second. Just pause for a second. Alex, you take it, and then we'll come back to Derek.
Yep.
So what I would say, Putra, is depends on the type of employee. If it's an employee that's more hands-on, it's definitely by doing. I have had trained teams where I have not even told them to read the 2-second lean book until 3, 4, 5 months after, because those kind of people that are hands-on, those teams they understand when they're doing an improvement, how that works, how that improvement works, the morning meeting, as you guys said here. So it's by getting them involved, especially if you have a more senior guy that can spend time. Not you don't have that normally everywhere, but if you have the privilege of having someone, a 2%er in your organization, you can put them with them. That's definitely a way to speed it up.
Okay, good. And then
Nice.
Derek, go ahead.
Am I back?
You're back.
So one of the things we've done is when we hire people, general manager, he schedules part of their interview is to come to the morning meeting with the rest of our team. And then if they, depending on how they feel about that now from a job, the first thing we start them out with, we've got a checklist of things that we go through, but cleaning the bathroom, and then I've got a series of video playlists that we go through to have them watch every morning, and while they're like our installers, when they're riding in the van to the job, that we give them that list to participate in that way, to get educated and up to speed on it, and then following up with them, helping them solve problems that they're running into.
Good. Richard, do you have any comments?
Yeah, and the other thing as well, on the internet, there's lots of very short lean simulations. Just go and pick a couple that would be applicable to the type of employees that you've got with your business that you've got. I know Putra is looking after the maintenance of the city of Vaughan in Toronto, so they do the snow clearing, they maintain the parks and stuff like that. So any simulations that would help them understand something relative to what they're going to be working on is going to help, as well as all of the videos that you see going across everywhere with all the 2 second lean. Those videos are so inspiring and they will get people up to speed very quickly.
Okay, and I just posted on the chat 70 videos from Norm over in China. He's produced wonderful 1 minute videos that show incredible application of 2 second lean and just making continuous improvement. So I just posted that on the chat.
Awesome.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Next
He's
Yeah,
got the bar
Norm,
that high. He's really good.
Norm's a bomb.
All right. Next one. Pablo, our friend Pablo from Argentina. What improvement
Yeah.
opportunities do you recommend for working with suppliers that are not aligned with the lean culture?
Okay, I'm going to give that one to Bob first. He has to deal with this on a mega level. Bob?
Yeah. So partnering with your suppliers, at least offering to show them what we do and come alongside them to help them. But we definitely have a bell curve of our supply base. We have about 3,000 total suppliers, and some embrace this stuff and others run total batch and long supply chains, and we deal with the symptoms of that. We've got a massive one right now that we're dealing with, and we're hand to mouth from the supplier, and yet we have 2 bays worth of material. How can we have extra material and we don't have what we need? So we Steelcase has a really good culture of being willing to go. They'll send me or one of our plant managers or other folks on a
Go work with them.
jumping mission to work with them. Yep.
Smoke jumping mission.
That's
I like it. It's exactly right. Okay, Alex, go ahead.
I would invite him to his shop, Pablo. Get him in your shop and tell him, and they can see the problem. If you're talking about defects on the supply they have, they can see what are the consequences. And they normally, when they see the impact they have on their bad service or defects, they will try to get on the bus. And also, if they're able to have a bigger problem that you can help them with and they improve it, they're totally on board.
Okay, very good. Derek, go ahead.
I'm a small guy. I don't have a whole lot of sway with my suppliers, but I just say that it's communication. We've got one big supplier that for one time they were doing something that was the most unlean thing possible, and I made a video and sent it to my rep and said send it to your boss. And at a show I talked to him and they said I was in a meeting with the president of that company and we watched your video twice with like 50 of the higher ups. And the truth is it didn't really change or improve much, but it is most suppliers aren't getting feedback from anybody. People are like, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And it's surprising when you tell them, hey, this is a dumb idea, and that they go, oh, well, nobody's ever told us that. And so,
Yeah.
so I try to give with everybody that I work with feedback on it to help them improve their business, because I look at it, I'm a long-term relationship. I won't sell you out for a nickel as long as you take care of me. So let's work together and have a long-term relationship. And most of my suppliers I've had for forever because of that.
Awesome. Okay, Bernard.
great. This is good question because it's a kick in the backside for me. The key things would be invite them for a lean tour as part of your lean tour operation, and then go see them for a site visit. So we don't do enough of it, but we do some of it, and then start sending them your 2 second lean video compilations from each day as well. And then, like Derek says, you're giving that constructive feedback. So this is an area we're not very strong in, but those are my thoughts.
Okay, so for us at BASCAP, because we're both vocal and visible about our lean journey, everyone knows about us. So when a vendor comes to us, they're not coming to us just thinking we're another company. They already know that the expectation is going to be incredibly high. So my response would simply be vocal and visible about your lean activity. And I think it will, by default, they'll have to rise to a different level. But go ahead, Richard, do
good.
you have something?
Yeah, next month we've got a 2 second lean tour with Oryx Doors and Systems from Dubai with Guy.
Oh, he's great.
He
Wow.
has
He's a
got
great guy.
a great little video on his website, and you look at that and you immediately know you're working with a company that's got high expectations, just like you
Yeah.
have, Paul, with everybody.
Yep.
So I have something on your website that shows who you are. And then when, your suppliers come, they can see this is what the customer I'm dealing with. Okay. So now I've got to get my bar up to them, and I can always ask them for help. Just
Very
like,
good idea.
yeah,
Love
just
it.
like
Good. I like it.
Toyota sends a team out to help their supply chain, right? So,
Right. Yeah,
yep.
beautiful. Okay, next question.
All right, next one. Derek from British Columbia. How do you balance planning improvements to ensure a smooth implementation with first-time quality versus making small improvements on the shop floor and enacting large change through many short, small improvements that may not be well thought out? So this is a little bit of a difficult one to understand what Derek is after, but from my perspective, he's essentially looking at Ryan's 1, 2, 3 level of improvements, right? So you've got the foundation, which is your small improvements, and then you build on top of that the ones that need a little bit more thinking, and then on the top is obviously the big capital that you're going to spend to get a new machine. So that's my thoughts on this.
Okay. So, Bernard, you want to try it? Take a crack at it first?
Yeah, good question. And we had this this was definitely a challenge when we first implemented 2 second lean. So I think I can help a little bit here. Is that we said, go fix what bugs you, and then you end up with a lot of people, without growing people or training people enough. And there's lots of improvements coming in, but lots of, someone would hang the broom here one day and then hang the broom over here the next day. So in their mind, they're making an improvement. You honestly, we had so much of that in the first, because I'm a sort of guy where I read the book before I'd even got through chapter 1. We were already implementing 2 second lean. We were just on fire. We did the morning meeting the next day. We just got straight into it. So yeah, we had that challenge, but then actually in the end of our first week of implementing 2 second lean, we did add up all the other more meaningful improvements from more experienced people, and we'd saved 12 hours of process time across the business. It was phenomenal. But we had all this other issue too. So what we did to fix that is start to train people on that level 1, level 2, level 3 improvements, and then making sure that only team leaders could actually sign off a level 2 type improvement. Like if you're shifting a layout in the factory, or if it's going to impact more than one person, you've got to get some sign off, or some feedback from your team leader. So you do have to start putting these things in place. I don't want you to slow down on your level 1 improvements, because otherwise you won't build an improvement culture. So we still get people making silly mistakes, but they're expected to learn from those mistakes and then get some more help from team leader. And that's why we get a lot of our team, especially the more inexperienced people, into these what we call mini Kaizen events every day. They're only 10 to 15 minutes long, but they're exposed to improvement thinking every single day of the week. And that seems to be better for people who struggle with their own improvements, and they really they feel like they're part of a team improvement. So that's another way of approaching that.
Good answer, Derek.
I think making those small improvements helps people recognize the big improvements. Like I said earlier, I think a lot of times we're looking for this big improvement that's going to change the world, but we're tripping over stuff that's on the floor. And so when we making small improvements on the shop floor, leads us to getting better feedback when it's time to make bigger improvements.
Okay, Richard, you want to try?
You know what? On this one, I'm right in line with what Ryan says, that the small improvements are the foundation. And once you get everybody engaged in doing these small improvements, then the bigger ones will come. A lot of companies I've been in, they have the improvement tickets at their Gemba when they do their morning meetings. And some of those ones have to be signed off by the team, and then others have to be signed off by the leadership. So it's all about, daily accountability of what you're going to do, but encourage the small improvements, and the bigger ones will start to come. And that's where you're going to get the large change. You're going to get the high flow improvements by doing the
Okay.
larger ones.
Alex?
Nice.
So we had the three type of levels we're talking about here. So if it was more than the 20, 30 minutes of 3Sing and improvement time, it goes to the lead man takes that call. If not, it goes to the supervisor. And if it takes more than one day, right, then it went up to me. And it was really just for the permission, but it was more about, okay, they're asking for this. It's going to take 2 or 3 days. Let's understand what are they thinking. So I'd go out there and understood, okay, what we really need to be doing is moving, not buying new equipment, but moving the equipment or some special exhaust system. Or so it's a way of getting us a heads up of there's a bigger problem that we haven't seen in this great communication, let's say, rule to get us involved if it takes more time. But it wasn't that complex to manage. Most of them, 99%, they're very small. They take care of themselves,
Okay.
maximum in one day. Yeah.
Bob?
Yeah, so pretty much the same thing. You know, our company's about 3.5 billion. So of course we have checks and balances that if you want to spend this amount, you have to go before the tribunal to get that amount. I was just showing Paul and Alex. We just put our first automatic stamping press in, 660-ton stamping press in over 30 years because we take good care of our equipment. So we've got all these stamping presses that are decades old that are still running great. But we put a new one in. That was a strategic play, obviously. That didn't come in a morning meeting. But our philosophy is we want to have as little governance as possible on the small things, and you want it to align with your distribution of problems, right? So you have a lot of small problems, and you want to have a lot of people solving those without handcuffs on, and then you have some bigger problems that require more levels of approval and more planning. To Derek's question.
Excellent.
That makes
Okay.
sense.
Yep.
Richard.
Really good. Really good. Okay. Next one. James from Australia. Let's see what James is going to say. Let me know if you can hear this well.
Hey Richard, it's
I like
James Hill here
this.
from Australia. I'm just sending you a message from one of Paul's signal groups. I do have a question for the next upcoming AME roundtable. My question is I'm part of a Lean team, continuous improvement team that's been charged with the mission of teaching Lean across the whole entire mine site of 2,500 people. I have myself and a team of 7 other people. I'm just curious about if the people in the AME roundtable were in my position, how would they structure their day and what would their team routines look like? As a team. Right now, one of my struggles is that I've adopted this team that aren't really lean maniacs, and I'm trying to work out how I supercharge them and turn them into lean maniacs, and also help get the word out there in the mine site and teach how amazing lean can be.
How about that? Everybody hear that?
Yeah, so
Yep.
Richard, the first question I have for you, do you think James is saying that his team of 7 people are not lean maniacs? Is that what you derive from that?
Yes, I do. He's obviously part of a team that looks after 2,500 people, and they've been engaged to put 2-second lean into place. So he says, how do I make the rest of my team lean maniacs?
That's easy for me, but I'm not going to answer the question. I'm going to give it first to Alex. Go ahead,
Okay,
Alex.
cool.
Oh, James, you're in for a ride. First, James, more than you're not going to transform your team of 7 people just like that. What you really need to do is focus on the leaders of this 2,500 people organization to make sure that they are buying into it. If not, you're going to spin your wheels and you're going to put a lot of effort for something that's not sustainable. So when you find that 2%ers, work with them. And by example, you will pull your team, but you won't be able to get the same excitement as you are because you're part of the 2%, obviously. But more than anything, get the good buy off and pick the right place to deploy because a 2,500 is quite a big. So you need to have a 10, 20 pieces, like Bob was saying, a little center of excellence, a little lab where you can do that so everybody can see what you're talking about. What is it that you really mean? What does excellence look like? How people are happy in that area? How are they working? How are their tools? What is their mindset? What is their routines, their morning meetings, and so forth?
Okay.
Start small.
Okay, Bob, you have a lot of responsibility. What would you say?
I would say what Paul Aker says, which is I can't teach you anything. I can show you.
Yeah.
And I would do exactly what Alex said. I would create a lean model and I would bring them there and show them what it looks like, what it feels like, and allow that to allow them to see that there's a better way. He also mentioned that you got to get leaders excited about it by bringing them to see that there's a better way. Plant managers. When I was first a lean leader, I worked a lot with the local lean leaders in the plants, and then I found out at the end of the day, the plant manager calls all the shots. So you got to get them on board. And Paul knows some of our plant managers.
Right.
Charlie, that runs our plant in Alabama, total lean maniac. So
Exactly. Okay, Derek.
Over the years, I've had different levels of buy-in from employees. And one of the things I think I struggled as a leader on my end is thinking that they get it like I get it. And so I would tell or show people something and expect for them to buy in and jump on board. And the truth is that they didn't see it like I saw it, and it wasn't as important to them. And is what my new general managers showed me is there's a lot more work and effort involved in it. I don't want to say hand holding, but really coaching people through it and getting them up to speed and understanding on it.
yeah, it's a longer journey than anybody realizes.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
I read 2 Second Lean 15 years ago in a Sunday afternoon, and I came in and I shared it with a couple of people that were with my team at that time, and we totally transformed our shop in the next 2 weeks, and because they've got it. And since then, I've had other people come on and that get it at a different level or don't appreciate the value of making improvements. And so it's, we've been up and down with buy-in. And so it makes it really, really, sometimes you get people that I don't have time to do this. And I'm like, you don't have time to not do it. And so it's finding, one is finding great people that are open to improvement. And two is hand holding, babysitting, coaching, however you want to call it, to get them up to a level of understanding that they value that continuous improvement.
Paul, are you still with us? I think we
Yep,
lost
he's
Paul.
muted.
Okay, so
Muted.
Bernard,
I
you're
think
up.
he's muted.
Is he?
Yeah, he's trying to talk.
He's trying to
We
talk.
can't hear you, Paul.
Oh, he's on mute. We've lost your audio, Paul.
How
Okay,
about,
I'll
how
jump
about
in.
now? Am I
Oh,
better
yep,
now?
gotcha.
Yeah,
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 you're
you're better
good.
now.
Okay, so Bernard, go ahead.
We got you
Yeah,
back.
it's an awesome question, and what I'll say is just like, and I agree with all you guys, are great answers, is go back to make sure you got the basics right. So make sure you got the morning meeting going in every department. So it's really hard. I know when you got 2,500 employees and you got different shifts and all the rest of it, but where there's a will, there's a way. But you're going to have to get leaders on board. So if you can't create a senior leadership team, SLT, that and give them a deadline, listen to 2 Second Lean within 1 week and hold them accountable to that. If you can't do these sorts of simple things, you're probably going to really struggle. And then give them a second book, maybe Improvement Starts with I, and listen to that in 1 week, or even just listen to 2 Second Lean over and over, and then start to, you're going to have to get that leadership team. Absolutely, they're going to have to become lean maniacs, because in my business, I can't do it by myself. I've got a great senior leadership team, and then the wider leadership group, and I'm just always coaching and training so that they become, they're getting better and better at implementing lean, understanding lean principles. And yeah, it's just, I don't know what more to say, but really growing that leadership group to support you is so critical.
Yeah, so James, this is my answer, and I said it was a simple answer. Life is short. Those 7 people got to get on board, and it's your job to challenge them and get them on board or get them off board quickly. You cannot waste time with people that don't get it, but spend your effort. If they want to do it, let's do it. But you're going to fail unless you have those people engaged and with you and pulling the same way.
Absolutely,
Right.
100%. And these 7 people are going to be the foundation of your learning club. So, Alex started a learning club, which is absolutely fantastic. So everybody listen to 2 Second Lean. Improvement Starts with I, and then watch all the AME tours. If that doesn't get you passionate about lean, I don't know what does. So.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Don from Canada. This is a great one. Prior to the pandemic, we had a great lean team. Unfortunately, we had to downsize and most of the team left. The team we have now is not into lean. Where would you start to get them engaged?
Okay, so on this question, Richard, how do you feel about this being the last question? Is that okay?
If you're on a tight time, that's fine because we're at 4:38 my time right now, so we've still got another 20 minutes. But if you got something to do, Paul, that's fine.
Okay. Bob, you don't know what I want to do you?
I know exactly what you want to do. I'm looking at the wind forecast.
I think we all know.
I
He
was
wants
not
to-
in the water today, and I need to
Okay,
be
he
in
wants
the
to
water.
catch the wind.
Okay.
Okay, last question then. All right, last question, Paul, just for you, because this is all
Okay.
about you and getting us all curiosity where it starts.
Okay.
Go.
Okay. So who's going to take it? I'm not going to take it. Go ahead, Bernard. You take it.
Bernard first.
Oh, I kind of think we've probably covered a lot of this already, haven't we? In our session today is like read the book. Like let's just get back to basics. Get them to get a group around you that is get someone that's going to support you. Like you have to have support. You can't do it by yourself. So you read the book first again, and then make sure you've got two or three. I don't know how big this company is, but if it's whatever it is, everyone should be leading teams of, I don't know, 7 to 8 people kind of thing. Get the leaders to listen to it, set them a deadline, start the morning meeting, keep improving the morning meeting. If you give up on that, you're screwed, you're stuffed.
Yes, you're
and then
screwed.
excuse my French. So just follow the basics, follow the book, follow the blueprint. Again, like we've talked about, watch the AME tours, just keep chipping through it and just don't give up. You got to be relentless. And again, I'm going to say change the people or change the people. So train. But if you're beating a drum and it's going nowhere, you're going to have to get good people around you to support you. And that can be really challenging. So everything we're talking about is not easy, but lean is the hard thing that makes everything easy. So if you give up, your life's not going to get easier. It's going to get harder. So that's all I'm going to.
And start with yourself. Start with yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool.
Lead with a great example. If you're not doing it and setting the example, you're only going to get 25 to 50% of the output that you're putting in there. And at the same time, sometimes you gotta take somebody out behind the barn and shoot them. I had an employee, probably the best installer that ever worked at the Closet Doctor. And we fired him because we got tired of the fighting against lean. And so, one of the things we implemented years ago, after he'd started working there, we implemented stretching in our morning meeting. And for 5 years, he crossed his arms and wouldn't participate. And the problem was anybody new that we brought on, he would just kill.
Kill the enthusiasm. Yeah.
Kill the enthusiasm. And so it was a very, very hard thing to do, but he's a rock star somewhere else now.
Okay. Alex.
The whole question brings it's like I got to call on Don here because if you reduce the number of people, you normally keep the good ones. So unless they left, but I remember for COVID, that's when our lean journey started, and it was fantastic. It was the best thing we'd done because we were focused on improving, and we even forgot that we had COVID kind of thing. Yeah. So I think really that there's something else going on there, Don, that is more like I don't think they see you
exactly
with that energy to push the envelope. So I would put it back on you and challenge you, Don, because the rest are excuses.
Yeah. I mean, so this is the first question that was asked. The whole roundtable is: if you're not out there doing it, if you're not passionate, you can forget it.
Absolutely.
People follow leaders who are passionate. I learned this directly from a Toyota top leader in Japan. People follow people because they believe in people. They believe in their leadership. They believe in their passion. And if you're not passionate about it, no one's going to follow you.
No, 100%. Yep.
Bob.
It starts with you. Okay. Bob. Is Bob still with us?
Oh, yeah.
Nothing more to add. That's the leanest ad. That's the leanest ad ever.
Okay. All right. So I just want to thank everybody for today. Incredible. We're going to let Paul catch some wind.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
It's
Thank
incredible.
you. I
I
got
thought
out
you
of the
said
water.
I thought you said pass some wind, Paul, but as long as it's catch some wind.
I do a
All
lot
right.
of that at 64 too.
Blowing 23 right now, Paul.
Okay, I'm going, baby.
All right,
Okay, guys.
everybody, thank you
Take
so
care.
much.
Okay.
Catch next month. We've got a tour with Guy in Oryx in Dubai. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And we'll let you know when the next Leaders Roundtable is. Everybody, Bernard, Alex,
Yeah, everyone,
Bob,
thank you.
Derek,
You're awesome.
Paul, thank you so
Okay.
much for everybody.
Great group.
Thanks,
Have a great,
everybody.
have a great
Thanks for
trip.
having me.
Bye, guys. Thank
This is
you.
great.
Okay.
Thanks to all our viewers. Thank you
Okay,
so much
bye-bye.
for joining.
Yeah, and thanks for everyone. Great turnout, everyone. Great turnout up there. Thank you, everyone.
It
for
was
coming.
And
phenomenal.
please spread the message. Tell all your friends because we'd love to
Yeah.
see more on these to spread the message and help
Yeah.
more people. So
Yeah,
please
and
pay it
when
forward.
we pass those links on, make sure you guys pass them on to everybody.
we
Get as
will.
many
Yes.
people as possible. Okay.
All right.
Please.
All the best.
Awesome.
Bye-bye,
See you
everybody.
later.
Thank you, guys.